Hello and welcome to Process Love Candy. My name is Mark Sheard and you can find me on Instagram at Shearder. And this is a time-lapse demonstration of one of my works. Today's piece of love candy is a commission piece for a birthday present. So in this drawing I wanted to make sure that I captured both of the characters as they were in this point of time. This is a birthday present, I had to make sure that it's something that I can look back at and remember forever. You know, I like to make sure in my drawings I capture personality and spirit. I like to do these kind of quirky ones and get different expressions and attitude. So I'm really working on this rough here many times over. You can see as I work, I keep refining, I keep trying new things. It's important to get their attitude in their body posture as well as in their expressions and faces. So each time I layer it up, I knock back the layers and then rework over the top of it and refine it as I go. I'm trying to get a good, solid silhouette happening here. You'll hear me talk about that a fair bit. So I'll just pause it for a second here and show you the silhouette of this design that I've come up with. So you can see here, it's very clear, the two defined characters plus the dog on the skateboard, with a tiny little gap in between to show the fingers of one of the ladies, and making sure there's that tiny little gap in between the arm holding the skateboard so you can really see those moments. Okay, it's important to make sure that a silhouette in a drawing is nice and clear and readable. It makes your drawing easy to read from a distance, and it's just a good foundation to build on. Okay, so back into the drawing now. So now I'm doing what's known as my cleanup stage, where I'm doing my final line work and refining things as I go. You'll notice I keep still changing things. Nothing's ever set in stone in a drawing until you've finished your cleanup. So I take this stage to keep refining from my drawing that I'd previously done. You'll see me keep reworking those facial expressions. I tend to never get happy with that. There's a fine line between characterization, making it look good, and making it look like the person that I'm drawing. And it's pretty hard, especially when you've got to pull different expressions, and when you're pulling from reference material, you tend to only have a certain amount of angles and shots. A lot of people don't like getting their photo taken as well, so they pull unnatural expressions. So you've got to really work on that and make it look a bit more natural and fun. And these two girls, you know, you can tell by what they're doing. They're amazing young ladies, skaters. You know, they're really confident in who they are and themselves at their age, which is just lovely to see. So I really wanted to capture that. So, you know, with their clothing, you know, and their attitude and the way they dress, and it's kind of all part of who they are, you know. And I love seeing that little Thrashing t-shirt, so I had to make sure I whack that in there. Old school. So I like to put details in everywhere. I don't know why, but especially in shoes, I like to put my details in the laces. Even though they're going to end up being black and no one looks at them, I think it's important to make sure that where there are fine details, I commit to those. Now I'm real happy with how this line work's turned out. I've got the attitude right, the poses look natural and comfortable, their hair's looking awesome, you know, it's flowing. It's a little bit longer than in reality, but I had to make sure I put that in there just to make it look super cool. The scratches and cuts in all the jeans and everything looking good. I had to work on the bagginess of the jeans at the base, you know, where they sit on the shoes. That's always a difficult part. The skateboards have come out nice. I had to get some good reference for those to make sure you get the angles correct. And the dog, you know, came out pretty cute. I've cartooned up the dog a little bit more, you know, made them look a little bit more fluffier and roly-poly, but I think it's all come out for the best. So now it's time for me to add my colours. Now, when I'm doing my colours, especially on this, I'm trying to keep what's known as a selective colour palette. So I'm keeping all the colours in this one a little bit more muted, grayer tones, which will complement the background that I've chosen, which is just a combination of different textures that I've scanned and created from traditional mediums in the past. So I'm maintaining that desaturated colour palette throughout, which will bring out the skin tones in the characters and make their facial expressions pop out a little bit more. It also unifies the whole drawing and gives it a good rhythm. When I start rendering and adding the shadows and highlights, I tend to have a standard process I go through. First off, I'll add the pink warmness to the skin in areas that get flushed, like the cheeks and nose and fingertips. Then I'll go in and add a little bit of texture where it needs to be, so on the jacket here and in the hair. Next I'll go through and add the shadows, picking my light source and sticking with it throughout the drawing. So in this one the light is coming from the top left. I'll then go in and add my highlights and put an extra layer of highlights on there, and I'll do a few layers of these to get into the more intenser highlights. So what's more reflective will get a little bit more brighter, whiter highlight, which tends to be in the hair more often, and that makes the hair look shiny and lush and healthy. I'll then finish my drawing off with my stylistic over line work, where I get really freehand and try to extend the line work beyond the original line work. I like to keep this really loose, creative, and a bit more flair. I'll finish off the drawing by signing it and being proud of it and putting it up there for everyone to see. So I hope you like this little piece of love candy process video. I've enjoyed making it. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.